All right, MAC 248, production procedures on the 29th of January, Thursday class. What did we learn today? Well, we took a test that had 10 true and false questions, 10 multiple choice questions, and one essay question worth 20 points from the goal, from project management, from our class discussions. And based on what I've seen so far, it looks like you all did pretty well. Thank you for taking the test, and I'm ready to listen to any positive feedback about it in my office hours. After we took the test, I wanted to go on to the road ahead to test 2. All right. I went back over the course objectives here. We're trying to organize and complete projects in the shop in this course using those 5 core project management skills. Whether you're doing them formally or you're doing your own version of them, please write things down so that you can use those lessons learned and the things, the times that it took you and all that kind of data for your final paper in this class. All right. The next one was, I'm hoping that in this course you will internalize and use the methodologies of continuous improvement. Even if you don't go on from here in machining, continuous improvement is useful anywhere, in any job, and indeed in your life. You could, if you write down at the end the lessons learned in any endeavor, you can't help but continuously improve, I believe. Then, after we're done with the goal, I'm going to have you survey, rank, and choose among current business methodologies for formal continuous improvement, like Six Sigma, the theory of constraints, etc. We're going to skim those parts of the book and use them to write our paper as guides for our paper. And then the last thing in that course objective was the paper to be written itself. And at the end of the goal, I'm going to have an extensive class on the rubric used to create and grade that paper. So on the road ahead, we're going to be looking into continuous improvement in the goal. In particular, we're going to be going into the various improvements that they make, the very small improvements they make, and then how they add up and how they execute the plans that they made earlier to save their jobs and to get the plant on the right footing. The week after that is those particular improvements are formally instituted in the production procedures, and they back it up with measurements, very precise, meaningful measurements of their improvement. So they formally put the improvements, and they formally make measurements about how they work, and they prove that their continuous improvement plan is the way to go forward. The last thing before the exam is we're going to be closing the project of the goal. What I mean by that? Well, they meet at the end and they discuss the lessons learned, and they come up with the idea that, hey, after all this stuff we did, we now have a process. A process goes on and on, right? We can go into the future using this process to continuously improve our operations and everything else that goes into them. So then the last part of class, I talked about chapter 20, and it's after Jonah's visit, and they are finishing the planning phase, and they're saying what we're going to be doing going forward. Oh, well, that sounds like execution. And Bob says in his little speech, why don't we go for the low-hanging fruit of not putting parts through the bottleneck that are going to be rejected later on anyway? Why not find the rejected parts and then the remainder go through the bottleneck where the time will not be wasted? Remembering how valuable every hour on the bottleneck is. So we will see you next week, and I encourage you to read to page 219 in the book. Thank you.